Section 5.2. In this section, you will see questions like this. Tick one box to name each cadence. This section isn't that tricky because we have already learned about what cadences are, and it builds on the knowledge that we have already learned. There's essentially nothing new here. To do questions like this, we should figure out what the keys are first. And the good thing is, the keys are always given in this kind of question. In question A, we are given the E flat major key. And our job in this case is to find out what the two chords are at the end of the music. First, it will probably be helpful to outline the chords we have in the E flat major key. And for our purpose, the 1, 2, 4, and 5 chords, because at grade 5 music theory, we only have to be concerned with these 4 chords, which are also the most common chords in Western classical music. And if it helps, you can also write the letter names above the chords. In the first chord, we have the E flat and B flat in the bass clef, and then we have the G and E flat in the treble clef. So in this case, as a whole, we have a chord 1 here, because all of these notes here belong to the 1 chord. Next, we should figure out the second chord. In the bass clef, we have 2 B flat an octave apart, and above them we have the F and D in the treble clef. So as a whole, it's B flat, D, and F, and that matches the 5 chord in our collection. So in this case, it's a progression from chord 1 to chord 5. And I hope you still remember what we have learned in a previous video about chord 1 going to chord 5, which forms an imperfect cadence, because anything ending with a 5 chord is an imperfect cadence. And that is the answer. In the next question, we have an E minor this time. And let's update our collection of chords. Chord 1, chord 2, chord 4, and chord 5. And again, if it's helpful, we can also write the letter names above them. Now let's look at the first chord. We have a B and a D sharp in the bass clef, and a B and F sharp above in the treble clef. So as a whole, it's a B, D sharp, and F sharp, and that matches with the 5 chord in the collection. And you may notice that we have a raised D, because now we're in a minor key, and D being the 7th note of the minor key is always raised. And that's why we have an accidental of a sharp there in both the collection we have and in the music. And in the following chord, we have 2 E's an octave apart in the bass clef. And above them, we have the G and E in the treble clef. Now this time we have 3 E's and 1 G. If we look at our collection of chords, we do still have a chord that contains all of the notes here, which is the chord 1, the E, G, and B. Only that in the music we don't really have the top note, the B. However, it's actually not uncommon to see in Western classical music where at the very end of the piece of music, the 5th note of the chord, that is the top note of the chord, is omitted because of musical reason, often because of a need to make the melody sound better. Anyway, so we have a chord 5 here, followed by a chord 1 at the end, and this makes it a perfect cadence, a 5-to-1 progression. And that's how you tackle this question. If you're looking for some more practice, I'll highly recommend that you visit this interactive site where I've put together a lot of practice tests and mock papers with instant feedback. In the drill mode, you have access to all the questions section by section, so that you can focus on specific question types and practice them until you feel confident. There are virtually unlimited questions. In the exam mode, you have access to full papers in the exact format of the exam with randomized questions each time. You have 2 hours to finish the complete paper, at the end of which you'll be given your score and feedback.